everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. It's such a pleasure to be back on YouTube and to see you guys and to talk to you guys. I hope you all are doing well. Today's video was inspired by a comment that one of my subscribers left me a week ago. So basically this person is problematizing expat versus foreigner, and I didn't give this much thought earlier, but now I want to talk about it because I think it's an interesting question as to how I define myself and so on and so forth. So what this comment, I guess, served to do is to kind of problematize the reinforcement of racism and, like, you know, putting myself as a separate group, which basically doesn't cater to everything I'm talking about, which is building a community, integrating into German society. I thought this was a very interesting point because many people that I know here in Germany, you know, they would call themselves expats or they wouldn't call themselves an immigrant, you know? So I wanted to kind of go into this topic a little bit and talk about what I think, you know, the differences are and how I define myself and why I call myself an expat versus call myself an immigrant. I did a little bit of research on this and I found out there was an article on BBC. It says, according to the BBC, immigrants are usually defined as people who have come to a different country in order to live there permanently, whereas expats move abroad for a limited amount of time or have not yet decided upon the length of their stay. So I moved to Germany a year ago. So as an American, it's relatively easy to move to Germany, particularly for work. So, you know, I came here in the first 90 days. When I was here, I looked for a job. I found a job and then I went to the Ausländerbehörde and I applied for a visa. So the visa that I'm on in this moment actually is a Aufenthaltserlaubnis, which is I have a residence permit, and then I have a work permit on top of that that basically allowed me to work here. So essentially, I do have the documentation of an immigrant, but it is limited. So it expires in a few years. So essentially, when I look at myself in terms of my profile in Germany, I actually don't have the documentation to call myself an immigrant. Although I can stay here for as long as I want, and if I'm still working at the place, I can, or if I get another job, I can renew my visa, but I am not able to, I don't think I am able, and under these circumstances, to be called an immigrant because I don't have a permanent residence. I've only been offered a residence permit with the permission to work, which can turn into a permanent residence in 4 more years because it will be 1 year exactly on July 5th that I moved here. But in the moment, I am not able to be called an immigrant. Although I do understand why this could be annoying to some people to be like, why are you calling yourself an expat? Like basically putting yourself in a separate group, right? Because what that does is that reinforces racism, that reinforces like this German foreigner type of mentality, not necessarily limited to Germany, but also like in another country, right? You're putting yourself in a different box, you're not necessarily integrating. And that is the same thing in China. But I do think systematically, this is the way it is. We are separated. We have limitations on what we can do, you know, in terms of voting. And, you know, if we lose our job, the immediate thing we have to think about is our visa status, right? We have to think about our resident status. And effectively, we are in separate categories. So that's why I will continue to define myself as an expat, although I do appreciate the love and the welcoming. It's like, Chris, you should call yourself an immigrant. Like, you are here, you are in the society, you are integrating, you are speaking German. You need to call yourself like one of us or whatever. That is beautiful. Actually, I love that comment, so thank you. Yeah, what do you guys think? Foreigners that are watching this video, it doesn't matter if you're from the States, if you're from Africa, if you're from South America, what do you define yourself as? Maybe you have been here longer than I have, you know? I know a lot of foreigners who have been here for like 20 years and they still call themselves expats. Why is that? Or do you feel comfortable calling yourself an immigrant? Germans, do you view foreigners differently when you think about these categories of expat and immigrant? Because me, I don't necessarily think they're too much different, you know? Because personally, I feel like, you know, if I'm here for 20 years, Germans will still know that I've immigrated, right? So I think that in their mind, I will still be like, not German. I mean, yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and share this video if you cared. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.